Hello Pokemon trainers! Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video here on iStarly TV. Today we have some great news. Pokemon Home has been announced for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So this is the long-awaited Pokemon Home update so that we can now transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Home to Scarlet and Violet, and back and forth. We can transfer them from Scarlet and Violet to Home as well. And I mean, this is something we've been waiting for forever, I think. I think this is exciting for anyone like me who is kind of a collector in the Pokemon franchise. You know, people who are just super invested in these games, really love them, and have Pokemon from older games that you kind of have a special connection with that you really want to bring into the newest Pokemon release, which of course in this case is Scarlet and Violet. I know they had said, I could have sworn, I know a lot of us were saying that they had said that this would release in early 2023. I think they said that in the Gimmighoul reveal video, like before even Scarlet and Violet came out, when they first revealed Gimmighoul. I'm pretty sure they said Pokemon Home connectivity would be coming early 2023. Now, I mean, it's coming at the end of May, and I guess that's technically still early 2023 because we are technically still in the first half of the year. But they were really stretching that early 2023 deadline here, because we are very near the end of early 2023, if you can even consider it still early 2023. So with all that out of the way, all that rambling nonsense, let's get to some details about this update. This is coming on May 23rd, so we still have to wait a few days. That's a little bit less than a week. It is coming at 6 p.m. PDT, which luckily for me is my time zone, so I don't have to do any math to figure out, you know, what time zone it's going to be coming, or what time it's going to be coming out for me. If you're in the United States, that means if you're like Eastern time, that'll be of course 3 hours ahead, so it'll be 9 p.m. for you. And of course, if you're other places in the world, it might be coming on May 24th for you, because it's releasing for the same time at the same time for everyone. But there are some exciting details here about this update. So let's start. I'm not going to read this whole paragraph because that's a lot right there, but I'm going to try to highlight what I think is most important. It does say, linking Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to Home will allow players to move Pokemon freely between Pokemon Home and their game. Okay, so this isn't very clear, but I think what they're saying here is actually really, really exciting. So it sounds like we will actually be able to move Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet into Pokemon Home and then into one of these other supported games. So we can move a Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet into Home and then into Sword and Shield if we want, or Legends Arceus. Now, of course, there is an unfortunate caveat here, and that is this must be a Pokemon that exists in these games. So we cannot bring Fuecoco into Home and then into Sword and Shield, because Fuecoco is not in Sword and Shield. However, we can bring a Teddiursa from Scarlet and Violet into Pokemon Home and then into Legends Arceus, and then we can evolve it into Ursaring and then into Ursaluna in Legends Arceus, and then bring it right back into Scarlet and Violet. So, like, for example, if you have a Teddiursa that you caught in Scarlet and Violet, like a shiny or something, and you have like a cool ribbon on it or something, and like you have a connection to it, you can bring it to Home and then evolve it in Arceus, and then bring it back to Scarlet and Violet as a now shiny Ursaluna. So that's really exciting. It does specify here, again, it just kind of gives the same example I did. It says, for example, Dolliv cannot be moved to Sword and Shield or Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, blah, blah, blah. But it says a Pikachu from Scarlet and Violet can be moved to these games because it appears in them. So yeah, like I said, that's actually really cool. I think that's awesome. It's basically backwards compatibility with Pokemon Home, and that's something that we've never seen before. Usually when Pokemon Home releases or updates for the newest game, you know, that's kind of all you have is like, oh, you can bring Pokemon from older games to this game and that's it. But now we could bring Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet into older games if we want. And again, as long as they exist in those games. But I think this allows for a lot of cool options. Like, excuse me, like in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and again, if you're someone like me who cares about this, there's a lot of really cool ribbons in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that do not exist in any of these other Switch games. And so you can bring a Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet to BDSP and get it some awesome ribbons and then bring it back to Scarlet and Violet. And again, in general, I mean, just Pokemon from older games with awesome ribbons, you can bring them to Scarlet and Violet. So I'm super excited about this because I'm someone who cares about like ribbons and marks and like Pokeballs and stuff like that. But again, if you're someone who has like a collection of shinies from older games, this is your day. It's coming. I'm really excited. Now, here's the thing too, you know, usually when they release a Pokemon Home update for the newest game, they give us a little bit of a prize, I guess you could say. They give us like some Pokemon as celebration, I guess. And it says you can celebrate this new connectivity, I don't know why I said connectivity, by receiving a special gift. When you transfer a Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet or Violet into Pokemon Home, for the first time, you will be able to receive a Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxly with hidden abilities as mystery gifts on the mobile version of Pokemon Home. So if you want these prizes, you're gonna have to make sure to download the Pokemon Home app on your phone, and then basically you just link your account. So then, I don't know why they make it like why you have to get the prize on the mobile version, but either way, you put a Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet into Home, and then once you do that, you'll get the Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxly on your phone. And then basically once they're in your phone, I think you just like go to the phone app and like receive the prize, and then at that point they're in your boxes, so you can go back to the Switch and they'll be in your boxes, and then you can move them to Scarlet and Violet. So if you're excited for this, like if you don't have these Pokemon, if you haven't been able to trade with people, well, this is a cool thing for you. Now you can get one of each of the starters if you don't have all of them yet. Although the games have been out for so long now, I feel like most people probably have traded and probably have all the starters at this point. I feel like most people who care about the games, or rather, sorry, most people who care that much, you know, and want the complete Pokedex and all that, have probably already traded. But either way, this is something, right? Also, you know, as far as the hidden abilities, those aren't super special either, because you could just buy ability patches in Scarlet and Violet, and then you can, well, I'm sorry, you cannot buy them. I think you get them in raids, but you can get ability patches in Scarlet and Violet, and you could already have gotten the hidden abilities on these Pokemon by now. But again, you know, for some people, I think this is probably really exciting, and that's really cool. It also says you can bring roaming form Gimmighoul from Pokemon Go into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So now you'll be able to have a new form of Gimmighoul that previously has not been allowed in Scarlet and Violet, and that is the little roaming form Gimmighoul. So that's kind of cool as well. I think that's kind of cute. A few more things, going paragraph by paragraph here. I'm not going to read everything here, or I'm not going to read every word here, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. So when you transfer Pokemon into Scarlet and Violet, or back and forth with Pokemon Home, you'll be getting league points. So in previous games, you would get battle points for doing this. This time around, you're getting league points, which is kind of cool because league points can usually be used like money in the game. So basically, it's kind of like you're getting money in the games. If you transfer a lot of Pokemon between Home and Scarlet and Violet, you will get a lot of league points. And like I said, it's basically like you're getting a lot of money, because when you go to a shop in the game, usually you can either choose to buy an item with league points or money. And the price is usually the same. So again, it's pretty similar to money here, which I think is pretty exciting, because if you do this a lot, if you keep transferring a lot of Pokemon, you can just rack up those league points and just buy whatever you want in the games, which I think is cool. You can also go to your Pokemon's display page in Pokemon Home, and it'll let you see which games your Pokemon has been in, which I guess that's kind of cool as well. To me, that's not that big of a deal, but I guess that's kind of cool, right? And then finally, this is the last feature that I think is pretty exciting here. When bringing a Pokemon from Pokemon Home into a linked game, you'll be able to change the moves it knows from a list of moves it has learned up to that point. Now, sadly, these moves are limited to moves that can be learned in Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus. It does say some moves excluded for the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But it'll allow you to have your Pokemon know the moves you want it to know before moving it to Pokemon Home. So, you know, this has been done in a couple of the most recent games with Pokemon Home. What they've done is basically, once you transfer a Pokemon to Pokemon Home, its moves are kind of reset. And, you know, the unfortunate thing is it's because, like, previous, like, older games had some really cool move tutor moves and stuff like that. And sadly, now what they do is when you transfer it to Home, it just resets its moves to like a very basic move pool, so that you can't have like, I don't know, Landorus with knockoff in Scarlet and Violet. So I know that's really annoying, but I guess this is kind of something. Like, for example, if you're about to transfer a Pikachu from Pokemon Home to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, you can update its moves before doing that, because basically the reason for this is like there are different moves in each of these games. Like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl has moves that don't exist in Sword and Shield has moves that don't exist in Scarlet and Violet. So rather than just completely resetting their move pools, you can kind of choose which moves you're going to give it before you put them in the new game. So I guess that's something. Again, I'm still like disappointed by the fact that they've kind of deleted some moves, like Return no longer exists in Scarlet and Violet. It's still kind of sad that they had to do that, but whatever, right? At the end of the day, I'm really, really excited for this update, and I have a lot of Pokemon. I've actually been replaying like Emerald and like Fire Red and Leaf Green. I've been replaying a lot of older games, just kind of collecting some cool Pokemon with cool ribbons, just so I can transfer them to Scarlet and Violet. So I'm super excited for this. Also, what this means is, I'm assuming this is what this means. They didn't specifically say this, but there are Pokemon who are in the code in Scarlet and Violet who have yet to be like officially released in Scarlet and Violet, such as like former legendaries like Landorus and stuff like that. Those Pokemon, and like Zapdos, those Pokemon are like in the files of Scarlet and Violet, but again, there's no way to get them in the game yet, so this might be the way to get them. So now, once we can transfer from Pokemon Home to Scarlet and Violet, we can now have like Ursaluna in Scarlet and Violet, and Zapdos and Landorus. So it also just opens like a lot of possibilities, and if you ever want to replay Scarlet and Violet, now you have a lot of new options to trade yourself, I guess. So let me know what you think about this Pokemon Home update. I'm really excited for it. I mean, if I'm being honest, we waited so long for this. I kind of wish there was even just a little bit more, but at the end of the day, the core of what we were hoping for is here, and I like the fact that we can transfer Pokemon backwards now to older games, which is great. So cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to this day. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. And let me know in the comments which Pokemon you are most excited to bring into Scarlet and Violet. For me, I have a shiny Dragonite, and it has a lot of really cool ribbons. I caught it in Fire Red, and I really can't wait to bring it to Scarlet and Violet, because of course I do a lot of competitive battling, and Dragonite's very good right now in Battle Stadium. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.